Hello, pilots, and welcome back to Flight Academy Season 3, brought to you by Out of Art Gaming. As always, my name is Phil, and today we have Game 3 of Group 2. As always, the format rules are in the description below, but joining me for this we have...
James. I'm still around.
Hey James, welcome back. Continuing a little theme of my factions versus your factions here, it would seem.
A little bit.
Like, I promise it's not all just good guys versus bad guys. I'll let you guys in the comments decide who are the good guys and who are the bad guys. Nice. But let's quickly run through the list before they start going at it. On the left, we have Fraser, another returning player for Flight Academy. He, this time, is running the Grand Inquisitor with extreme maneuvers, fire control system, and the concussion missiles. I like that build. Nice and simple, but should be pretty effective. And what do we have on the other side?
So Scott has brought Red 6 himself, the man who thinks he can hold it, Jack Pawkins in the T-65 X-Wing, with Daredevil, proton torpedoes, R5D8, the spare parts canisters, and the servo motor S-foils.
Nice.
It's a build that I'm very curious to see how it plays out. There's some ways to stress Jack, but he can maybe get rid of it for some damage. He's got the astromech that can fix damage, and then spare parts, presumably to just give him an extra charge on that astromech.
I like... At first, when I... Again, all the lists were sent to me just prior to going into the game, so that I could get everything set up ready. And I was like, yes, we've got a T-65. And then I saw it was Jack Pawkins. I was like,
Pawkins?
What on earth does Pawkins do? And I had to go back and like double check it, because I was just like, you see T-65 and you assume you're going to have Luke or Wedge or maybe even Biggs coming out. But Pawkins was a bit of a surprise, but I like his ability. I think in a 1v1, getting rid of that stress to potentially damage yourself is actually really effective.
It could be brilliant.
Yeah. Ooh, and Scott has managed to get the first shot of the game here as well.
It just couldn't boost because of that debris, so he had to go back.
Yeah. Oh, and that's 3 hits
So
off the bat
for the rebellion.
Yeah, good start. But I mean, the Grand Inquisitor has lots of tricks and tools to get around that, spending the Force.
I mean, I think the Inquisitor spend a Force on 4 evade dice, though. That's still pretty good. I mean, obviously he's regenerated it, but
I mean, that's the thing with green dice. They are generally horrendous. Green dice hate you.
I mean, if they didn't, then the games would go on forever.
True, they do have to end at some point, because people need to go home eventually. Stores get really annoyed if you just keep playing past closing time.
Hawkins just going straight, grabbing a lock. I guess gearing up to try a proton possibly next turn.
Yeah.
He's working his way around. Is he also... He's probably also going to grab a lock, isn't he? Because he's got fire control.
Yeah, it makes sense if he can potentially get a concussion.
Blocks and no shooting. Oh no, a boost.
Extreme maneuvers instead. Try to see if he can get that shot off, I think.
Ooh, it's close.
No, not quite. It looks closer than it is. When you put that template down, you're like, it's actually quite far out. But good setup for this round to continue on.
I forgot what Extreme Maneuvers does. It's not an upgrade I've seen. So it's basically Daredevil. You spend a Force to do a sharp boost, whereas Jack can take a stress to do a sharp boost.
Yes.
So they both have a sharp boost, but with different upgrades. This is
Extreme Maneuvers is cool. I do like it. Oh, and Jet couldn't hold it there. Porkins has taken the damage for getting rid of that stress, but Talon Roll with no stress. I mean, that's just still brilliant.
Yeah, the fact that it's like, well, you took the damage, but you always get to remove the stress. It's not a case of, oh, that's a shame, you didn't roll well enough, don't get the stress removal.
Yeah, it's a very consistent way of removing that stress, and I do like it. There's like a lot of ways of like negating it. I mean, you look at say Anakin, if you've got an opponent in the bullseye, he can get rid of the stress, but you need them in the bullseye. I believe, is it Near Numb, or is it Near Numb that has crazy stuff like
Yes,
that as well?
T70. If there is an enemy ship at range 1 of you when you receive a stress token, you may remove that stress token.
Yeah, so pretty cool ability. And then Porkins just goes, I'm just going to rag it as hard as I can and hope that I don't die by doing it.
Fine.
Yeah. Oh, but looks like we're going to have a concussion missile here from the Grand Inquisitor.
Concussion missile will hurt, but that does mean that the Grand Inquisitor is at range for a proton torpedo.
Yeah, and
has a lock and a focus, and more dice turns. So we'll see how that works out with the dice.
Yeah, just 2 damage. Oh, debating. No, he's not going to spend the focus. He is going to take that shield there.
He's got some regen with R5D8 fixing hull. So losing shield is bad, but he's got additional health in the reserves, and having a focus for a proton torpedo.
Yeah. He wants to be able to double mod it.
I understand the frustration with that. But spends the lock on not the
just
best.
The one. No. So that is
focus for
not bad. 2 hits and the crit.
But needed the focus, so was a good choice not to spend it.
Oh, the Grand Inquisitor having to spend a force there to only take 2 shields, but that is half points on the Grand Inquisitor, so a fairly effective proton torpedo there, if you ask me.
Yeah. Although the Inquisitor did manage to keep his lock on Porkins, so he's still got, more concussion missiles to come, and fire control system is active.
Yeah, that is true, and that is going to be really good. Oh, jousting there.
In the Rebel 1.
Yeah, the Rebel 1 forward to
the Inquisitor can't play though, so is he... Oh, he's dropping the canister.
Dropping the spare parts canister.
I genuinely thought that was just going to be, I'll just keep it in reserve as an extra charge, but...
Well, that has just added some new debris to the field. Fraser's got to hope that he's got a trick there.
Because, if he's done like a K-turn, he's going to be double stressed and probably going through the debris again.
Yeah.
Depending on where he ends up. We'll have to see where the Inquisitor's gone.
And that does look like a 4K to me.
Straight. I mean, I don't blame him. I would have dialed in a 4K. Or some sort of ground maneuver, but... Ouch.
So yeah, he's gone over the spare parts canister, which is essentially a debris field. So he gets an automatic stress for going over that, a stress for doing the K-turn, and then has to roll a dice and see if he suffers a crit.
And next turn he's flying through the debris again.
Yeah. That is an amazing spare parts canister. And also, he can't shoot off that either because he's still on it. He didn't actually clear it either, so Hawkins is not being shot. No damage there, luckily. It was just a hit there for the Grand Inquisitor. But that's
a really good...
Arguably one of the best uses of spare parts canister.
I mean, that is the perfect position, really. You've nailed him on this turn. He's got to go through it next turn, no matter what.
Yeah. So he's still going to have 2 stress next turn, potentially a crit as well. So
really good. Got, any limitations on where he goes. He could easily just do a 4K himself, remove the stress, and take a decent shot.
Not only that, even if he 4Ks, removes the stress and takes the damage, he could just use an R5D8 action to get rid of it. Can he hold it?
Does he try and fix it now? Or does he ignore
Not take any damage? I mean, the potential is he could fix it and then obviously...
Yeah, he's gone for the title lock. Because if
because he didn't actually take any damage.
Then you can fire off the other torpedoes. If he's got close to you, then you've still got a range 1 shot with a target lock against an Inquisitor who won't have any tokens other than the Force.
The thing is, with the Inquisitor, it won't be a range 1 shot because he will use his ability to spend a Force to ignore the range 1.
Maybe it would have been worth sending the Inquisitor straight at Hawkins then.
Yeah, because at the moment...
Deny the Proton Torpedo, because that looks pretty bad.
That's a hit crit on the Proton Torpedo. Got the evades there, though, to avoid it, so... Unfortunate there for Scott. If he'd have had a focus, that would have been 3 in there, but...
Out of torpedoes.
I mean, in all honesty, he's still got the Grand Inquisitor in a nice position. The Inquisitor is double stressed.
He is, but he does have a decent dial with some good blues.
Yeah, true. He's got the blue 1 hard, which is just ridiculous. So is he going to turn in?
If he has, that's a bump.
He has turned in.
So some range 1 shots.
No, it is a bump, so it'll be range 0 shots.
Oh, range, yeah.
Gets rid of 1 stress. Not going to take another stress.
Ability to get around that, can he?
No, because it's still range 0, so you don't get any bonuses. And no way to modify your attack dice either. That is...
Right, yeah, the Inquisitor can change a range 1 attack. He can't affect a range 0. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that is 1 damage into Porkins.
He can hold it.
He can hold it. Both half health right now. Let's see what Scott can do in return. Fraser obviously still has 2 force there for the Grand Inquisitor, so... Yeah, that's...
Wait, what?
So I thought Scott had 4 dice in his hand, so I said he had too many, and he was like, no, I've got 3 in both, and decided to roll all 6.
Right, okay.
Which was... I mean, he didn't need to roll all 6. Those 3 did it. That's blank out for the Grand Inquisitor. Porkins can hold it and can secure the win there.
I would have done that save move, but that canisters was a good move by Scott. It deserved the win for that, I think.
Absolutely. It was unfortunate for Fraser that he ended up having to go over that twice. I think he reacted the right way to it. It was just, there was some great dice from Scott, so very well played there by Scott. Again, well played by Fraser as well. I think he did absolutely fantastic. It's nice to see the Grand Inquisitor on the board. But let's have a quick look and see how that has affected the table. We're a couple of games in. Top of the table in Group 2, we have Scott, having played 2 games, got 2 wins and 2 kills, so a max 8 points, 100% start there. We've got Gruff in second with the win there in the early game. Rich and Fraser still yet to get off the board, but again, it's still early doors. We still have 9 more games in this group, so anything can happen. But James, thank you very much for joining me there. We've got a good solid win for the Rebellion. I hope you enjoyed that one.
You're welcome for having me. Yeah, looking forward to seeing more of these quick little games.
Excellent. But guys, again, thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to hit like on the video and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next time.